Hi everyone. So if you watched part 1 where I went over my seedling plans, this is the second part of the video where I show you how I plan and organize everything else. So I got this little organizer, I think from Target, but you can find them anywhere. They're really helpful. They have pockets. You can put sticky notes up here to remind yourself things. But this is just kind of my list, an overall garden to-do list. Now, I have things I want to build, things I need to buy. This is a list of pots that'll be on the deck or on the patio or on the front porch. And then these are all my flowers that will be planted this year. And then all of these herbs and plants will be stuck in the side in front of my house. So I'm building a new bed along the garage. This is going to be for corn and strawberries this year. Jake is going to build me an archway between two of my original beds. And this is so that I can use it as like a trellis for cucumbers and beans. We're going to build a trellis leaning against part of the deck so that I can have another spot for vining things such as beans, cucumbers, even flowers. These are all pots that I usually have along the deck. I have a really large pot that I put herbs in. So that way when I'm cooking, I can just step right outside the door, grab what I need, and then get back in quickly. I already have the spearmint in the red pot. I overwinter it. It just does its own thing. It's already green and growing. I have large green pots that will be on the patio that will grow on the trellis. And that has cucumbers and beans. I'm just trying to utilize as much space as I can and get as much as I can out of my small yard. Let's see, I'm going to do Thai peppers in pots because the Thai pepper plants themselves are usually pretty small, so I can do those in pots. I want to do serranos in pots. I want to try my aji chombos. These are the ones I was telling you about before that are native to Panama. I've never grown them, so I want to try one in a garden bed and one in a pot and see what does better. And then the Pippin's golden honey peppers, I've not grown those before, so I'm going to do the same thing of growing them in two places. The nice thing about growing in pots is if I see something is getting too much sun, I can drag it into the shade. If it's getting too much shade, I can drag it into the sun. And if I'm supposed to be getting like a storm, like last year we had a storm and it broke a lot of my plants, I can pull them closer to the house and let the house protect it. Sweet potatoes, I'm going to try to do them in pots on my front porch. They have beautiful heart-shaped leaves that vine out, and I mean, they'll trail like 5 feet. It really is a statement when you see them, so I want to try to put them right. 2 pots on my front steps so that it trails down like a little welcome area. And I really want to try onions in laundry baskets this year. Last year I did potatoes in laundry baskets, but I eat more onions than I do potatoes, so I'm going to try that this year, but I have no idea how that's going to go. These are just my flowers I started from seed. Just made a note of I'm going to need to find a spot for these, which is not going to be hard. I'm going to stick it wherever. This year I'm trying to go closer towards what's called xeriscaping, where everything you plant is either medicinal, edible, or usable. So whereas I may not be able to eat poppies or use them for medicine, I can use them as cut flowers in bouquets or vases and bring them inside. Milkweed is so important to Northwest Indiana. That's the only plant that caterpillars of monarch butterflies, the caterpillars eat milkweed. That's the only thing they eat, and that's where monarchs lay their eggs. So it's so important for our environment. And then coneflowers are an excellent source of vitamins for your immune system, also called echinacea. And those are native here, so it's so easy to take care of them. You don't have to do any extra watering. They thrive on neglect here, so those are going to be awesome. And then the cleomes are really great for pollinators. They look and they smell a lot like marijuana, but they are not marijuana, but they are beautiful blooms. And then zinnias are just great for pollinators and great for cut flowers to put in vases and stuff. I just have a list here of things I need to buy because I'll think of something in the middle of the night and I jot it down, or else I forget. So I just have a little running list here. What, like cattle fencing, I need to know how much I need and from where can I get it. So this is going to be the front and side of the house. Last year I snuck extra peppers along the side of my house. This year I'm going to put other things along the side. I'm in city limits, so technically I'm not supposed to be putting like growing garden in my front yard, which I think is ridiculous, but whatever. So I'm gonna do things that don't necessarily look like the vegetable garden things. So there's a lot of herbs that will be going in the front. I mean, nobody's gonna be able to tell the difference. And honestly, I don't care. I'll fight it. So when we flip the page, I have my actual, like I call it my blueprint. Let me make sure it's square for you. So this is the like main garden part. So my pool would be here, whatever. Here's my fence, here's my fence. These two are the original beds that Jake built me, and I'm going to be doing the cattle fencing here so you can see my lines to kind of represent that. This bed, the last 2 years I grew tomatoes. In this bed, the last 2 years I grew peppers. Last year I had blossom rot, which is I think it's a calcium deficiency in tomatoes, and it can also be from inconsistent watering, but the bottom end of my tomatoes rotted away. So I was able to combat that by dissolving a Tums tablet in a gallon of water and then spraying it along the base of the plants. But I need to make sure I'm practicing each year, rotating my crops and growing something different in that area. So this is the pepper bed this year. I've got bell peppers, my pippins, chili tepin peppers, which are the only peppers native to America. They are native to New Mexico and they grow into Mexico. So I'm trying to grow those to promote those still being native here. And then I have leeks in between. This is empty right here because I don't know what I'm going to put there yet. I might put zinnias. I might find something at a local nursery that I just have to have. So I want to be able to make sure I have some room for those little miscellaneous plants. And then along this side of the archway, I'm going to grow beans. So I have black beans, I have green beans, I have purple green beans, I guess we can call them, and I have they're called red Indian beans. So I'm going to grow those here. And this archway is going to be 8 feet tall. So I'm going to be able to, as things ripen, it'll start to hang down, and then I can use like a little step stool and reach up and grab it. But that way I can walk in there without banging my head on a cucumber. Not that I'm close to 8 feet tall, but you get it. In this bed, where it was all peppers last year, it is tomatoes this year. So I have my solar flares, my blue cream tomatoes, my Brad's Atomic Grape tomatoes, and yellow pear tomatoes. So these 3 types I saved seeds from last year. These two, the yellow pear, I got this year. I got them as a free seed from Baker Creek Seeds. And then I got some tomatillos I'm going to try to grow this year. And then I switched these two because tomatoes and peppers use different nutrients in the soil, so I'm feeling confident in switching the 2 beds there. Last year this bed was all peppers, and this year I'm doing onions on the right side. Now these are 4-foot beds. I think these are 4 feet by 8 feet or 10 feet. I don't remember. It's pretty long. It's longer than I am, and I'm 5 feet tall. This is a 4-foot bed on each side, so I've got onions and carrots here. You don't really want to put root vegetables next to each other because they'll fight for nutrients, so I'm going to put sage in between. I have a couple uses in mind for sage. I like to dry it and then put it on the bonfires all fall because it helps keep bugs at bay, but then I love to cook with it too, so I want to have a lot of sage available. This bed was kind of a miscellaneous bed last year. I did a lot of onions, garlic. I'm trying to think of what else I did there. Maybe some carrots there. But this year it's going to be a lot of peppers. We eat a ton of peppers in my house, so I'm growing, as you can see, I've got 3 pepper beds. But I've got banana peppers on the side. I'm growing a lot more of these this year because I like to can them and I'll use them in like Italian beef. Got my aji chombos, my buena malatas. These were really popular last year. I got to give away a lot of these. They're pretty hot, but they're beautiful purple. These are the lemon spice jalapenos, Ozark bell peppers, and super chilies. Now, I've not grown super chilies before. I saved the seeds from my dad, so I'm excited for those. Up here along the top bed, we added this bed and these 2 square beds last year. These are each 4-foot squares, and I think this one is 3 feet by 12 feet. I don't know. I don't remember. It's not as wide as these, so I can easily reach back here with my arms. But I think it's 12 by 3, but I won't swear to it. So I've got ancho peppers here. I saved the seeds from a friend. This is my first time growing them. I've got 3 bullnose peppers. They're a bell pepper. I've got more Ozark Giants. We eat a ton of bell peppers, so I've got 3 more along the back here. And I've got 2 jalapeno plants, 2 serranos, and then my Carolina Reaper. I'm only growing 1 Carolina Reaper because I don't think I'll even need the one, and I'm doing it for fun and just to learn. So I'll probably be giving a lot of those peppers away. So if you're local, let me know. And then over here, this bed was originally here when we bought the house, so I never took it down. I planted asparagus back here last year. Asparagus takes forever to grow and establish, so I have to wait 2 years before I'll ever get anything out of it. But once it's well established, it'll grow for 20 to 25 years. So that's back here just doing its own thing. And then I'm gonna do butternut squash here again because the runners were able to come out along my fence in the yard and they did really well. They actually even came this way, so we'll see. But I'll probably only do a couple plants along this side of the bed, and I think this is maybe 4 feet. The butternut squash seemed to like the little bit of shade that the fence casted, so that's a good spot for them. And then I like to put my laundry basket of potatoes here, and then my laundry basket of onions will go here. And then on this side of the paper, this is my new bed that we will be building, and it's going to go the length of my garage. This gets full sun all day long. As soon as the sun comes up and as soon as it sets, this is sun. So I'm doing, it's going to be about 24 inches deep and I think maybe 16 feet long. But I'm going to do 2 rows of corn throughout, and then along the base of it I'm going to do strawberries. Strawberries grow maybe 6 inches tall. They are what's called runners, so they will grow similar to butternut squash, and it'll help protect the base of the corn and help keep this bed moist, even though it'll be in full sun for the whole summer. A lot of people do what's called the 3 sisters, where they will grow corn, because corn just grows straight up. They will grow a squash along the base of the corn, and then they will grow beans that grow up the corn stalks. So those are called the 3 sisters. They're very popular in this area, and it was something that the English settlers learned from the Native Americans. So I haven't tried that yet. I really want to try strawberries, and so I thought that it would kind of be similar to growing a squash along the base of corn. So that is my plan for this year. You can tell I've changed it 100 times, and I might change it when it's time to plant. But what I did is I sat down with my paper plans that I have shown you before, and I said, what do I want where? So I just started placing things, and I knew I needed this to be a tomato bed, and I knew I needed this to be a pepper bed. So this, when I originally drew it, looked totally different. But now that I have seeds planted and I have stuff growing, I'm just adjusting my plan. And this will change again, which is fine, but at least I have somewhat of an idea of where I'm going to be taking this. So I'm curious, do you plan? Do you draw up something, or do you just kind of wing it? You'll have to let me know, because I'm curious how other people do things.